Hi everybody, my name's Cindy. This is my first YouTube video. There have been plenty of practice videos, let me tell you. But bear with me because this is the first one that is going to be put on. My YouTube channel is going to deal with my journey through gastric bypass surgery here in Ottawa. So if you're from the States, my guidelines may not apply to you, but feel free to watch. Hopefully I give some good advice, some good information. So let me quickly explain to you what gastric bypass surgery is. Mind all the highlighting there. This is one of the books they give us. Okay, so this is your stomach. It's probably about the size of a football now. They cut a portion off at the top, which becomes your pouch. They don't call it a stomach anymore. It's your pouch. Then they cut your intestine right after your jejunum. I probably didn't say that right, but right after there, they cut it and they bring that portion of the small intestine up and attach it to your pouch. So this is your esophagus. When you eat, it goes into your esophagus, into your pouch, and down to your small intestine. They leave the bigger stomach behind because they figure if something goes wrong with the pouch, like God forbid cancer, they have a perfectly healthy organ to help, where they could reattach the stomach or make you a new pouch, however they choose to go along with it. The other reason is your little pouch, which becomes the size of a golf ball, if you can imagine football to golf ball, doesn't produce any acids. So, and the stomach does. So they make a little incision down here in your small intestine, and they attach it to the portion they've let out. So the acids that are produced in your big stomach meet up with the food in your small intestine and help with the digestion. So gastric bypass works in 3 ways to help you lose weight. The first is you eat a lot less. You can't eat as much as you did before. You could eventually stretch your stomach up, but if you're going to go through very dangerous surgery, hopefully you're not going to try and stretch your stomach out that big again. Secondly, it reduces the amount of calories and nutrients that you can absorb, which does mean that you're going to be on multivitamins and other types of vitamins for the rest of your life. Thirdly, you don't feel as hungry all the time, and when you do eat, you feel full a lot faster, so the hormones in your stomach are greatly reduced, and they help in that way. So those are the 3 ways that it helps. So let me quickly explain a little bit of my backstory. I was originally referred in August of 2009 to the States. I was going to go to the States and have my surgery. Right about the same time, Ontario stated that anybody who wanted to go for gastric bypass surgery needed to meet with a weight management clinic and be sized up essentially for the surgery itself. So I went to the weight management clinic here in Ottawa. My first appointment with them was in January of 2010. In that meeting, I was explained that if I have the surgery here, I would have the surgery within 6 months of that meeting. Where in the States, the wait time was probably about 9 months. So I figured, let's get this over with. I was newly engaged. We were waiting for the surgery to set our date. So I was like, let's get this done. I want to get married. The doctor was very, very wrong on wait times. I don't know if they are quicker in the States or not, but it's July 2011 and I still haven't had my surgery. So January I met with them. In December I had my information session. So if you can imagine, it's been 2 times the amount of time that I was supposed to have my surgery in. So December I met with the information session. They pretty much do what I did, explain what the surgery is, ask you if you want to have surgery still, or if you want to opt to try different diets. Quick side note, the reason why Ontario has opted to pay for these surgeries is the new stats state that 5% of people who go on diets are able to keep the weight off. Most people are like myself, who go on diets and lose great amount of weight, can't keep it off. My most successful diet, I lost over 100 pounds and I gained 100, probably 40 back. I can't keep it off. It doesn't work. I have other reasons why I had the surgery. I'll explain probably in another video, but yeah. So after your information session, you meet with a nurse. You have to meet, which I met with in January. Then you meet a nutritionist and a behaviorist on the same day. And I did that in January as well. You usually have to have a follow-up with a nutritionist because she suggests changes in your diet. Mine were to eat more protein and iron, I believe. Yes, I think that was it. And then, like a lot of other people, I had to meet with their psychologist. Some people have to meet with a social worker. You know, it depends on everything. I had to meet with their psychologist, so I did that in February. And then in May, I had the surgery class, the pre-op surgery class. It's a 3-hour class in a room with about 20 other people. Depending on how many guests you bring, or how many guests other people bring, you can all bring one, so it depends if anyone brings anybody or not. I did that in May. I met the surgeon in June, and I explained to him that sometimes I get heartburn. It happens, right? And he was like, hey, well, before we go and cut up your stomach and have a lot of trouble getting into it again, let's make sure your stomach's healthy. I was like, all right. So today, actually, I had a scope done. It's probably a tube, about this big. They freeze your throat, put you on a bit of sedation, stick it to the back of your throat, and look around with the camera. Mine turned out okay, which means I get to have surgery in July. So July 29th, 2011 is actually my surgery date. So it's, what, a year and a half from the time that I had my initial appointment. So 3 times the wait time that she thought. You need to know that it is a long wait time and that you're going to have to be patient. Anybody who is on my forum site knows I'm not patient. I bitch and moan every time there's a setback, and there's a lot of setbacks. But you're going to have to be patient. One of the ways that I was able to go a little faster than most is every time they called with an appointment, I told them to put me on the cancellation list. And yes, it's a great way of doing it, but they do warn you there's not a lot of cancellations, and sometimes you don't get to move ahead, but sometimes you do. For example, my surgeon's appointment, I met him, I was supposed to meet him in June 21st. Then they ended up pushing back to July 21st, and I put myself on the cancellation list. I ended up meeting him June 9th. So that's a few months taken off my list. So I'm starting to run out of time here, so let's quickly do a few things. So Friday, here in Ottawa, you have to do 3 weeks of optifast. It's a pouch. You drink 4 of these every day. It's a liquid diet for 3 weeks before surgery. So I start that Friday, actually, which means I have surgery in 3 weeks. I'd like to give a little bit of advice to anybody who's trying to get through this process. Cancellation list, cancellation list, cancellation list. Every time they call, say it. Put me on the cancellation list. I was really lucky because my family doctor knew some of the tests that I'd have to go through. So she sent me for a sleep apnea test immediately. A lot of people who are obese, because we don't really have a neck, we don't breathe right in our sleep. So she sent me for a sleep apnea test. She sent me for an ECG. It's always good to know if your heart's good or not. And she sent me for a few blood tests. So she gave me copies of them, so when I went to go have my surgery, or for my appointments, everything was good. I got to move ahead like that. Lastly, if you are diabetic, have it in check. It is so important, have it in check. I think that's all the time I have. I'll make another video probably on Friday to tell you how much I dislike the optifast. Thanks everyone. See you soon. Bye.